Hello guys and welcome back to Excelsior Academy. So in the previous lecture we talked about the role of nutrients, like about the nutrient media we have spoken about, right? So in this lecture we are going to talk about the role of the macronutrients and the micronutrients in the upcoming lecture. So the role of all these elements in detail and the deficiency of these elements. So what could result we are going to discuss in this lecture. So, the role of macronutrients in the plant development and growth we are going to talk in this lecture. So, first one is the nitrogen. So, we all know that nitrogen is very important because one of the macronutrients like NPK we say that so N is your nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So these three elements are really very important for the growth of the plants and plant and development. So nitrogen is required in 2 to 20 millimole per liter quantity. Okay, now the nitrogen is going to influence the plant growth rate. It is also essential part of the nucleic acid, proteins and hormones. So if you see the structure of these nucleic acid, you know that nitrogen is present in the nucleic acids and the proteins, right? So that's why it becomes important part for the plant growth and development. It influences germination and vegetative growth. Being a component of the chlorophyll, it also play important role in the photosynthesis. So it's not only the nitrogen which plays important role. So there are many other elements also which is going to play important role, because see, if you see chlorophyll in the center, in the porphyrin ring structure, the iron is present. Magnesium is present, not iron. So iron is present in the case of hemoglobin, whereas in the case of chlorophyll it is magnesium, right? Sorry for that mistake. So again, if we see that along with the nitrogen, even magnesium is playing important role. So all these elements which are the component of the structural architecture, so all these elements play a very important role. It also provides green color to the plant. So we know that chlorophyll is responsible for the green color to the plant and nitrogen is responsible or the important component of chlorophyll. So that's why we say it is important for the plants. Now even the too much level of nitrogen is also not good, because it will cause dark green coloring of leaves, lush growth, crop lodging and fruit quality reduction. So as we know that कोई भी चीज कम में भी अच्छा नहीं है और कोई भी चीज ज्यादा भी अच्छी नहीं होती है. So that will result in another different types of problems. Now, deficiency. So what will happen if the nitrogen is absent or it is present in low supply? So what will happen then? The chlorophyll content of the plant leaves will get reduced and it will result in pale yellow color. So during this we say that it is undergoing chlorosis. Okay, it is important, please remember, because chlorosis is also the outcome of many other elemental deficiency. Older leaves turn completely yellow. Now flowering, fruitings, protein starch contents are reduced, and reduction in the protein results in the stunted growth of the dormant lateral buds. So what does it mean? इसका मतलब ये है कि पौधे जो plants है वो बड़े नहीं हो पाएंगे. So they remain very small in size. So plants which look thin, pale, and this condition is called general starvation. Okay. Now, how do you detect this deficiency? So first of all, it is a visual detection. You can see that yellowing of the leaves. So from the color itself, you can say that the plant is suffering from the nitrogen deficiency, right? So the visual symptoms include poor plant growth, leaves become pale green or yellow because they are unable to make sufficient chlorophyll. So in this case, they said chlorotic, or the process or the disease called the chlorosis. Okay. Now lower leaves or the older leaves, they show symptoms first, since the plant will move nitrogen from the older leaves to the more important young ones. So इसमें क्या होता है? See, so your plant which are present at the lower, so these are your old leaves and your younger leaves are there. So what will happen, since there is a deficiency of the nitrogen, so from the older leaves it will go to the younger ones so that this plant can survive. Okay, so there are two different types of tests are there, soil test and the plant tissue test. Now in the case of plant tissue test, it can be detected non-destructively by measuring the chlorophyll content. Now how this can be done? Chlorophyll content test work because leaf nitrogen content and chlorophyll concentrations are closely linked. So what happens, you can just actually calculate or measure the amount of the chlorophyll. Now, how chlorophyll can be calculated? For that, you have got the chlorophyll content meter. It is a portable instrument that measures the greenness of the leaves. So, जितना ज़्यादा green, उतना ज़्यादा chlorophyll. जैसे कि अभी हमने देखा last time in the last slide that too much nitrogen is also not good because it will result in too much of greening of the leaves. So, it means what? So much of nitrogen, so much of greenness, so much of the chlorophyll, which is again not good for the plants. Okay. Now, what you can do? So you can add fertilizers which are rich in ammonium phosphate, calcium, ammonium nitrate, urea can be supplied. Okay, or you can use the foliar spray of urea, which is actually the quick method. Now coming to the phosphorus. So from the NPK, now we are going to talk about the phosphorus P. This is required in 1 to 3 millimoles per liter. It is present in meristematic and fast growing tissue. That is, we are talking about here about the younger ones, okay, younger regions. Now it is also important for the photosynthesis and respiration. And we know that both photosynthesis and respiration will eventually result in the growth of the plant and development. So it is also important for the root development. It maintains good quality of flowering, fruiting and seed production. It helps in storing and transporting of energy, promotes resistance to diseases. So अगर आप इसमें देखेंगे कि ऐसा नहीं है कि एक एलिमेंट कम है तो इसकी वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम आएगी. If you see that these are actually the combination of all these elements together which helps in the growth of the plants. Now what happens if phosphorus becomes deficient? So again, they will turn dark green, okay, and they will appear stunted. That is small in size. Then small leaves are affected first, of course, and they will acquire purplish discoloration. So you can see over here at the periphery, okay, at the border, you can see the purple color is coming, and this will show the deficiency of phosphorus. In some cases, leaf tips will turn brown and die, or they appear weak and maturity is delayed. Excessive amounts of phosphorus also can cause lower reception and deficiency of other elements like zinc, iron, copper, manganese and boron. See, if you don't have phosphorus, what happens? It is going to affect the absorption of micro elements. Okay. So from this also it is important that for the absorption of micro elements, okay, these are your micro elements which we will be discussing in the further lectures. Zinc, iron, copper, manganese and boron. In order to have a better absorption of these microelements, the presence of phosphorus is important. Now coming to the potassium. So that is your K. So from N, nitrogen, P, phosphorus, K, potassium. Now potassium we are going to talk about. So potassium is required in 20 to 30 millimoles per liter. Now if you see among NPK, this was 2 to 20, this is 1 to 3 and now this is 20 to 30. So you can see that potassium is required in highest concentration. Okay. So it is necessary for cell division. Meristematic tissue helps in the pathways for carbohydrate, protein and chlorophyll synthesis. So along with your nitrogen and phosphorus, even potassium is required for your chlorophyll synthesis. Now, if you understand, if you remember the stomatal opening, okay, in this also the role played by potassium ions is very, very important. So plant requires potassium ions for protein synthesis, yes, and for the opening and closing of stomata, which is regulated by proton pumps to make surrounding guard cells either turgid or flaccid. Now all this is played by the concentration of K+. Potassium also functions in other physiological processes such as photosynthesis, protein synthesis, activations of the enzymes, phloem solute transport of photoassimilates into source organs, and maintenance of cation-anion balance in the cytosol and vacuole. So this is very important point regarding potassium. It is also important for the influencing the water uptake. Of course, since we are talking about the stomatal opening, this also helps in the water uptake. So everything is just connected. Improving the drought tolerance in the cold hardiness, provides resistance to fungal disease and insect pests, synthesizing proteins, fat and sugar. So this is just the repetition. So here you can see that the importance of potassium is very much as compared to the other nitrogen and phosphorus. But again, nitrogen and phosphorus is also required. Okay, I'm not saying that potassium is the only required element. You need other elements also for the growth of the plant. Now, what happens if the deficiency is happening of the potassium? So this is also called potash deficiency, and in this plant disorder, it is common on the light sandy soils because in that area the highly soluble K plus will leach into the soils without the colloids. So now it is deficient in the chalky or the peaty soils with a low clay content. So आप इसके लिए क्या कर सकते हो? So what plant can do? When potassium is readily available in the soil, the plant will absorb it through the plasma membrane and channels and high affinity H plus K plus transporters, and they will store it in the vacuole. So what they are doing? So जहाँ भी जिस सॉइल्स में पोटेशियम लेवल कम है, जैसे कि अभी हमने देखा क्ले और पीडी सॉइल्स में K plus ion concentration is less. So that time the plants, what they will do, as much as possible they will absorb the K plus with the help of the channels and the H plus K plus transporters, and they will store it into the vacuoles. So whenever K plus is present at low concentration, vacuolar K plus is used to feed the cytoplasm in order to carry out the normal functioning of the cell. Now, this is also initiated by calcium dependent signaling network, which induces the release of K plus from the vacuole to the cytosol. So from here we also understand that along with the potassium, even calcium is playing an important role. Okay. Now calcium. So again, it is required in 1 to 3 millimolar per liter concentration. It is involved in the formation of cell walls. This is important, please guys, remember, and root and leaf development. It also participates in the translocation of sugars, amino acids, and ties up oxalic acid toxin. So actually, it along with that other toxin, it forms the salt and then stores in the vacuoles. Now the calcium deficiency, it will result in the small developing leaves. You can see the leaves are not developing. They remain small in size and they start getting wrinkled, and at the end the stem tips dies. Okay. So from this also you can understand that even the calcium is very important for the growth of the plant. Now coming to the next, that is sulfur. It is promoting the root growth and the vigorous vegetative growth. Also important for protein formation. Now why? Because there are two amino acids which require sulfur. So what are those? Yes, those are cysteine and yes, correct. That is your methionine. Okay. So that's why it is required for your protein synthesis. Now what will happen if the deficiency of sulfur is happening? The leaves are going to become light green with lighter color veins and yellow leaves with the standard growth. So you can see over here, the leaves are getting turned into yellow color. Last but not the least, it's the magnesium. It is also required in 1 to 3 millimoles per liter, involved in photosynthetic and respiration system. Now why photosynthetic? Because already mentioned that it is part of the chlorophyll, and in the chlorophyll in the center it has got the magnesium, okay, in the porphyrin ring. It is also active in the uptake of phosphate and translocation of phosphates and the other starches. Now what will happen if the deficiency is there? Now it will begin in the older leaves first, so yellowing around the edges of the leaves, leaving a green arrowhead shaped area in the center of the leaves. It will turn eventually the leaves will turn red or purple. As the decoloration progress, the veins remains green. Okay. Now in the serious magnesium deficiency, the leaves will also become brown and brittle and drop from the plant. So you can see over here, normally the leaves is there green in color, and the periphery of the leaves will start becoming yellow. Later it forms the purple or the brown color and it will finally die out. So guys, this was all about the macronutrients role for the growth of the plant and development. In the upcoming lectures, we will talk about the micronutrients and their role. Okay, so guys, thank you for listening and stay tuned with the Excelsior Academy. If you like the video, please share and subscribe with your friend circle, and let's complete together the syllabus of IIT JAM and GATB, so that in the next year you can write your exams gracefully. Thank you guys and keep watching.